Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's CITI program webinar. Today's topic is 7 elements of an effective compliance program, what research administrators need to know, and it is presented by Andra Popa. Just a few quick notes. This webinar will be recorded, and the recording will be available on the CITI program's website. This webinar is also for educational purposes only. It is not designed to provide legal advice or legal guidance. You should consult with your organization's attorneys if you have questions or concerns about the relevant laws and regulations that may be discussed in this webinar. In addition, the views expressed in this webinar are solely those of the presenter. Now let me tell you about today's presenter. Andra Popa is the Assistant Director, Healthcare Compliance at CITI program. Previously, Andra was the owner of a consulting firm that worked with over 40 healthcare entities to create, assess, audit, and monitor compliance programs, as well as to create educational programs. Andra is specialized in Medicare Advantage compliance audits. And now I'm going to pass the mic to Andra.
The learning objectives for this webinar are to identify the 7 key elements of an effective compliance program for IRB, IACUC, and sponsored programs research administrator. Learn how to apply each of the 7 elements of an effective compliance program through practical examples and case studies. Understand how to operationalize each of the elements and apply as a framework for research administration. Discover how to partner with compliance roles to foster a culture of compliance throughout research administration. Now, what is the background of the whole field of compliance? The cornerstone and foundation of much of the field of compliance was established in 1991 with the U.S. Sentencing Commission guidelines, which noted the 7 elements of an effective compliance program. It's not necessarily writing skills that are needed in developing procedures, but it's making sure that the versions are correct, that comments are discussed, and reaching a consensus. Collaborating with legal, faculty, administrators, the institutional official, possibly human resources, if any of these are applicable. For example, if someone is in research compliance, they should be outside of the IRB administrative office, not reporting to someone within the operational office, and also not holding a dual operational and compliance role. As partners in compliance, research administrators could co-develop if they have time or deliver tailored training if time allows. They can also review training or at least identify where training is needed. In research contexts, there could be specific channels for reporting issues such as data falsification or grant misuse to facilitate timely interventions that are also confidential. Research administrators collaborate on monitoring high-risk areas such as grant expenditures or sub-award compliance by supplying data and participating in audits. Disciplinary guidelines should be publicized in policies, training sessions, and employee handbooks, and it should be also transmitted through human resources.
In addition, I invite everyone to review our content offerings regularly, as we are continually adding new courses and webinars that may be of interest to you all. For instance, our recorded webinar, Building a Culture of Compliance, the Value of an Enterprise-Wide Compliance Function, reflects on the creation of a culture of compliance through the lens of how one university created an enterprise-wide compliance role. You can learn more about this webinar and others at citiprogram.org. In closing, I'd like to thank Andra for today's webinar and our audience members for joining us today and for their great questions. And that concludes our webinar. Have a great day.